This week on the Black Men's Roundtable, we are discussing why so many black people stay broke. One of the main reasons that I personally feel is that black people are very talented people. And a lot of times we get caught up in being attracted to that talent, but we never actually utilize that talent to its benefits. You know, there's a lot of men and women who are attracted to what society would call the wrong people. But if you were to flip the situation around or kind of groom their talents, then they would actually be the right people. I mean, let's take a guy who can walk up to a group of women at a mall who are looking at him like, don't talk to me, and within 5 seconds the whole group is laughing. That's a real talent. But instead of this guy being a comedian or a writer or even, you know, a Toastmasters coach, he goes to the mall on Sunday and talks to women. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's just a matter of having talents that are underdeveloped. You know, it's one of the reasons that we suffer so much.
Sometimes people never ever identify what their talents are. So where they're sitting up beating a dead horse, they should be looking in other directions. The talent might be obvious, but they never make it to that talent because they cannot identify it.
Yeah, I think a lot of times it's because they get caught up in watching what somebody else is doing. You know, so they might see somebody, you know, somebody who's really successful in painting or flipping houses. So the first thing they say is, you know, I'm going to get into this house flipping game. But they can't even watch a real estate show without falling asleep. Obviously, that's not the hustle.
That's not right.
You know, but then you got guys who are real into cars, but because they don't see anybody flipping cars, they don't flip them themselves. You know.
Yeah, just go with your talent and harness the talent and use it.
First, you have to be able to identify.
Identify the talent, yeah.
Another big problem is trying to keep up with the Joneses. A lot of times we look at what everybody else, like you said, is doing, or even what everybody else has, and we want to either prove that we can get the same thing, or we want to actually go and get the same thing, regardless if it hurts us or not. You know, you might have a brand new car, and I don't know the story about how you got your brand new car, so you don't need to be worried about everybody else and what they're doing. You need to just be worried about what you're doing and living within or below your means.
Yeah, and then, you know, the funny thing about the Joneses, a lot of people, you know, the Joneses kind of stem from celebrities. Mm-hmm. You know, celebrities are the ones who kind of set the trends, and then everybody spends all their money, time, and energy trying to keep up with them. And the funny thing about celebrities is they don't even pay for the clothes that they wear.
Right.
The ones who are actually powerful enough to get people to buy this stuff. They don't pay for the cars that they drive, and they don't pay for the shoes that they wear. They're given those because they know that other people are going to go out of their way and break their neck and spend beyond their means to try to keep up with them. And, you know, it's interesting, like the #1 rule in the modeling game is to not wear anything that they're not paying you to wear.
Makes sense.
You know, you can't, and sometimes if you show up at a modeling gig and you have somebody's logo on, if you can't find another shirt, they just kick you out the gig. Because they're not going to promote anybody who's not paying them to promote them. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's just a big, we're a far cry away from where we need to be.
And a lot of times, we in our community and other communities do the same thing. We over-evaluate stuff that has no value. Tennis shoes have no value when they're being produced in other countries for cents on the dollar. They come over here and sell those shoes for triple or quadruple.
Even more than that.
120 times.
20 times. And everybody knows it's common knowledge, and people still go out and fight for and kill and take lives for these shoes. People go, they purchase a car. They put rims on the car. They take out the factory radio, they put in the other radio. Then they put sounds in it. And you have depreciated this car down to nothing. It's worthless after you
drive a lot, really.
Hook my ride up. Hook my ride up is worthless.
And a lot of that stuff, one, isn't insurable. Two, a lot of people don't even get insurance on it. And you know, three, like you said, I mean, it's worthless from the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're doing stuff like that strategically. Unless you buy a car, I mean, look at what other value people place. And I mean, just like we're talking about how people put too much value in stupid shit sometimes, we can benefit from that if you got a little hustle in you. You know, we'll talk about some hustles, but...
Buy that stupid shit and sell it.
Right, yeah, because you
buy a car for $800, throw $300 worth of shit you bought on Craigslist in it and sell it for $2,000 because somebody else values this car because it has those sounds and all that.
Yeah, they didn't listen for the engine. Rummy the dummy gonna sit up. He gonna say, "Damn the engine, damn this transmission. It got sounds in it."
Right. None doesn't matter except for what it looks like.
Right.
You got to be careful when you're looking up at the Joneses because them people probably in more debt than you are.
Yeah.
Right.
You're looking up at people who got a little better car. That means they in a little more debt.
Like Ian said, you don't know what means they have got this stuff. Somebody could have gave it to them. They could have went to the police auction and got half the stuff. But you on the outside looking in, seeing, they balling. They went out and they bought this. They got that Chanel this and they got this Prada that. But somebody gave it to them.
You know, that reminds me of a story one of my teachers told me. He said he remembers one day he was in class when he was a student. And he was taking a test, but he had somewhere to be. He had already discussed it with the teacher. And so, well, actually it was somebody else. Somebody else was taking the test. This guy had already discussed it with the teacher. So about 30 minutes into a 2-hour test, he got up, put his paper on the desk and left the class, right? Everybody thinking he was done with the test started just marking answers, getting done with the test, you know. So only like 2 people stayed in the class and probably had like 30 people. About 30 or 40 minutes later, this guy came back and finished his test. The rest of the class failed the test because they were trying to keep up with him, not knowing that he wasn't even done with the test. You know, so as a result of trying to keep up with this guy, they sabotaged their grade because they didn't know the full story.
They thought he was smarter. Oh, yeah, he's smart. He can do that. I can do it this fast, too.
Exactly.
That ain't.
Yeah, because I just see that I could find a lot more to do with $20,000 than spending on a Louis Vuitton bag. Or
That's
golf
just
bag.
dumb anyway.
I think it's very stupid too, but if you listen to the media, they do it. They make whole songs about bags, purses,
Shoes, red bottoms.
red bottoms. I mean, if you don't really have this money as just throwaway cash, why would you hurt yourself financially to look good?
I mean,
And who are you looking good for?
Right.
for the rest of the suckers.
Yeah.
I mean, when it boils down to the money game, a lot of times that's what it boils down to. Is you got hustlers and you got suckers. I mean, and then you got your people that's in the middle that's not really concerned about what everybody else is doing, but a lot of people fall under that sucker category. That's why you can produce some shoes for $2 and sell them for $200, and you'll kill him over because you're a sucker. Yeah. And I told you they was worth something, so you know they said they was worth something. It costs $160 for a reason.
I mean, how could you buy a shoe? First off, the dude whose shoe it is don't even wear the shoes
Because you're a sucker.
Yeah. And then how do you buy clothes with a guy who made the clothes said he didn't want black people to wear it? You know, you got people like, what was it, Ralph Lauren or Tommy Hilfiger or both?
It was Tommy Hilfiger. I know it was Tommy Hilfiger.
I think both of them said that they would prefer black people not wear their clothes and black people still bend over backwards to wear their shit.
Even, what's that, Cristal? Remember Jay-Z heard about that? It wasn't for black people? Y'all sitting there rapping about it in your songs, and they don't even want you to drink it.
Exactly. And then you're buying bottles at the club because you think it makes you
I
something.
mean, we've all been in the sucker category because we've all supported some of this stupid shit, but I mean, it is what it is. People get over on other people because people let them, because you place too much value on stuff that otherwise has no value whatsoever.
I mean, hell, the Jordan shoes. Now, come on, Jordans came out sometime in the mid-'80s, right? Like the first or second, whatever them Jordans is, they just came out again, and they like twice the price for the same shoe, and got your silly ass in line at 4 o'clock in the morning to buy a shoe.
You're fighting
so you can get in line to buy a shoe
for cheap soft leather.
Right. I mean, but I've went on opening day and bought Jordans
As a kid, right?
as a grown man. I'll go tomorrow if something's coming out. If I can buy them for $160 and sell them for $350.
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
well,
they're tools. I mean, it's just knowing
Right.
your place in this whole spectrum of getting money.
yeah. But you're not
That
buying.
that makes sense because you're doing it as a hustle.
But you're not buying it as a consumer.
And if I wanted them, I would. But guess what? I'm gonna sell those pair and I'm gonna rock them for free because I sold 2 other pairs. It didn't cost me anything.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, with me, it's about being strategic. There's nothing wrong with having the things that you want, even if they're a luxury and above what you really need. You just shouldn't be breaking your bank to get them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that,
Other people should pay for that stuff.